Well, it was a tough day on Wall Street last Friday because the U.S. drone strikes on the Iranian general had caused kind of market turmoil, and the Dow Jones was pulled down over 230 points. But Tesla's stock price was up at over $450 a share for a little bit. Check this out. In the last 7 months, short positions on Tesla shares have lost $8.4 billion. That's according to S3 Partners, a financial analytics firm.
So Tesla shorts have lost more on Tesla than any other company's short losses. Apple is second with $6 billion in the same period. And I think that this is amazing. I mean, you're losing $8.4 billion. You may as well start a company.
Yeah.
Start building some factory with that kind of money that you're willing to just pour down the drain. Why don't you compete against Tesla if you think that they're going to be so bad? You know, produce whatever you think would actually work. Like, why is it that you're just going to short a company and not take that money and do something productive with it?
Yeah, and a lot of people think that the short squeeze hasn't even really begun yet because the big shorts here are the not normal shorts. They're not the Mark Spiegels of the world. We're talking about big oil. They want Tesla to fail, and they've been shorting this stock in an unusual way just to keep the stock price low. But even they at some point are going to have to cover and buy the shares back. You can't just sell them forever. They have to be bought. So that could create quite a short squeeze coming up. And the other thing I want to mention is that gas prices are going up.
Absolutely. So that's just another reason why you might see the stock take another uptick. On top of that, the Q4 deliveries results.
Yeah, so we just found out that Tesla delivered 112,000 cars in Q4 of 2019. Its previous record was 97,000 cars in Q3, so quite an increase. Tesla produced 104,891 cars in Q4, which is another record. So we just talked about deliveries of 112,000.
Then production
of 105,000. Why is there such a disparity between production and then they actually delivered more than they produced?
So these were cars that were produced the quarter before, obviously, and they were in transit on the way to be delivered in Q4.
Model S and X sales were 17,933 cars produced and 19,450 delivered. And I just want to say that's actually an increase from last quarter, which is kind of surprising if you look at this chart here from hypercharts.co. And by the way, go check them out. Awesome charts of all sorts of cool ways to look at companies. But if you look at this chart here, you'll see that at the bottom in the red and the dark orange there is Model S and X sales. And for a while, they'd been pretty stagnant and even going down some quarters. But this last quarter, they went up. Why do you think that is?
I think that there are some people who have been waiting for this like elusive Model S refresh. Of course, the Raven came out, the Model S Raven, which is the best Model S yet. But I think people have been waiting for so long for this elusive refresh that they might just have gotten impatient and gone like, yeah, I want I want the car.
Well, and you're right. The Raven is pretty darn cool.
Right.
Then we have the numbers for Model 3 sales. 86,958 cars produced, 92,550 delivered. That's 18,000 more Model 3s in Q4 than Q3.
Right.
18,000 more.
It's really impressive. And I mean, we're just seeing continual growth all the while during this auto slump. Like, most car companies are not doing so hot.
Right.
And here Tesla is growing really fast.
Now, if you take those numbers and divide them by the weeks, you find out that Model 3s were produced at about a rate of 6,700 Model 3s per week in Q4. That now includes data from Gigafactory 3, because in the last few weeks, they were actually able to produce some. So that's a total of 367,500 vehicles delivered in 2019. So take a look at this chart here from Hypercharts of annual production, and you see that that is another record. In fact, more than 50% over the previous year.
Yeah. I mean, that is an insane growth proposition.
Yeah, back in 2018, Elon gave guidance for 360 to 400,000 cars in 2019. It looks like they have met the low end of that guidance with 367,000 cars delivered. So in the letter, they talked about Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai, and they said, we produced just under 1,000 customer saleable cars. We have also demonstrated production run rate capability of greater than 3,000 units per week, excluding local battery pack production, which began in late December.
I just want for a second you to look at the graph, this annual growth graph, and you see that it looks like it's going exponential, and then this last one doesn't quite fit an exponential curve. And you might be saying like, oh, demand's going down. I don't think that that's it. I think that it's production. They're becoming production limited at both Gigafactory and Fremont. And so They need another factory. Now they have another factory that's just beginning production. I think that we're going to see this, as a little blip outside of an exponential growth rate. But I think that that's really exciting that we're having another factory go online that's already able to, at bursts of 3,000 units per week. That means that we should be seeing pretty soon, I'm assuming, about a doubling in the number of Model 3s that you're able to produce. And now it's in a brand new market in China at a price point that a lot of Chinese people can afford. This is a really exciting thing for Tesla.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We're all about making the world better here on Now You Know. Everything EV, solar, batteries, technology, Tesla, and more. If that's something you're interested in too, check out our Now You Know channel content like Tesla Time News every Monday and In-Depth every Friday. Now you know.